Saturday the 10th of December 2022, and today I'm sitting here, it's load shedding, and I'm thinking about a lot of things. I see a lot of stories on Twitter about BEE and racism and all of that nonsense, and at the same time it's quite obvious that there's a lot of people that are struggling. Things are tough. But I have a problem with the attitude of so many of those IQ 70 keyboard warriors on Twitter and on Facebook. They say things and they make statements for which they have zero backup, zero information to support their view. They're just sitting there screaming. And I think many of those screams are out of desperation. The big thing is, as Viktor Orban so aptly put it, it is not about race, it is about culture. Now, as a white Afrikaner, I grew up in a community that believed in building, not destroying, building. And it is a pity that so many of these black youngsters don't have that. To them, destruction is natural. They feel fuck all to throw a brick through a window. They feel fuck all to break a door out of its hinges. They feel nothing. Destruction comes naturally to them. And I think a lot has to do with the fact that they have never worked and saved to buy something that they really wanted. That is why they don't look after other people's things. It's a lack of self-respect, but that's enough. Today I want to talk about this story of discrimination against whites. And it's not only here in South Africa, it has become a global problem. The Kalergi Plan that was published in 1924 already clearly stated that the white race must be wiped out. And this massive immigration drives you see into white countries, it's part and parcel of that. And they want just a colored race. People with no history, people with no cultural attachments. That's what they want. They want a lot of individuals that can be easily herded together and done with whatever the elites want to do with people. In 2015, I wrote this piece, and I will put the link in the description of this video. And this is from my Briekmerke or Skidmarks blog. BEE. I am proud to be white. I normally do not write these stories in English, but after a lot of soul searching I decided to do this in English for practical reasons. I have a long career in IT. I published my first commercial application for the insurance industry way back in 1984. Most of those that will be reading this were not born then. I'm the son of a miner, a father that encouraged me to get educated and avoid to ever go into a mine. Throughout my life I've been an innovator, and a few things that are now common practice was innovated by me over years. I was the first person in the world to have a commercial application that allowed people to buy airtime by SMS. Today it is common all around, but back in 2001 when I launched the service it was a big thing. The well-known M-Pesa was ripped off from a document I presented to a group of businessmen in Kenya back in 2004. Be it as it may, a costly lawsuit against Vodacom confirmed that patents is fairly worthless when you are hit by big capital. Then in 2009 we got involved in a BEE deal and were promised the moon and the stars. 2010 we launched the online facilities for the National Lotto in a BEE partnership with a Johannesburg company. For the sake of decency I will not name names. I started off well, but as time went by I could clearly see that this venture is going to crash and burn. As a minority shareholder in the group, I had no executive say in the company, and basically all my warnings were ignored and my proposals were voted out of existence. Within weeks after the deal was signed with the National Lottery people, I saw some really fancy cars in the parking lot. Lots of flying between Joburg and Cape Town, lots of big flashy dining events. It was just bling, bling, bling. My responsibility was with the technical side and I focused on it. After a year I noticed huge amounts that came into the accounts and then dissipated. And then on a day I got a call from a bank. I had to come and sign some documents. Now to just clarify it, I am based in Nelspruit and the company was based in Johannesburg. On arrival at the bank I saw that it was a surety form for a massive loan. Well, my mother did not raise foolish kids. There was no way that I would sign a surety for a company that I have no executive powers in. I tore the documents up to the horror of the clerk and left the building. Well, as could be expected, I was now the Satan in the eyes of the other shareholders. They desperately needed this loan. My view was, sell those fancy cars, sell those properties bought with company money, pay back the company loans and you won't need a loan. I was branded an AWB boer and a few other things. Within a few months I found myself isolated and blocked out of the company's service. In short, my technology was simply taken and I was dismissed. 10 years of my life down the drain at the age of 60. A time when I was planning my retirement, I was stripped of everything I had. My friends and family advised and encouraged me to exercise my legal rights, but I simply refused. I will not spend my last days on this earth in courts. Being a chronic depression sufferer for more than 30 years made this a very hard time for me. The first few days I spent in isolation in my office, talking to nobody, rarely eating anything and drinking liters of water per day and smoking packets of cigarettes. My mind was in turmoil, but an unwavering belief in myself and my capabilities kept me sane. On day 4 I picked my phone up and started making calls. I was now digging deep. I have fantastic friends dating back to the 70s. Friends that were wild with me in those years, riding our bikes and partying till sunrise. These are friends that are now in executive positions, and some of them I have not seen in 30 years. God promised me that He will not send things into my life that I cannot cope with, and I took Him by His word. Within hours I got confirmation of support. Now understand this, zero financial support, simply technical support. A dear friend introduced me to a guy that was also down and out, but he had a skill set that I needed. Another guy offered me clandestine support, although he was still involved with the company. He knew my abilities and he was shocked at how I was treated. Between these three men, I got the technical support I needed and faced my family. They were shocked and stunned, but I assured them that we will survive. For the next 3 months, I spent 18 to 20 hours in my office, typing like a man possessed. It was September 2012. By middle November 2012, the new application was ready for beta testing, and then came the nerve-wracking period of compliance testing. End of November, I ran out of money, and my dear wife loaned me a few bucks to pay my bond. My one son gave me some cash for food, and I knew that this was the end of the line now. I won't see December month end if things don't change soon. Well, I serve a living God, and by the first week in December 2012, the compliance was signed off and we could start marketing. I'm not going to go into details, but will say this. Sheer willpower, unwavering faith, and the ability to focus paid off. Now 3 years later, I'm actually glad I got out of that BE hellhole. The Bible warns us about grouping with the ungodly, and this episode confirmed it. The BE company went down the drain, and a few months ago I heard rumors that the directors lost everything and is now being sued for the millions squandered. Frankly, I don't give a damn. They got what they deserved. I feel sorry for the people that lost their jobs. Now the real reason for this document is this. I see these blacks that post everywhere about redistribution and white privilege and all that racist shit, and I think for myself, You bloody self-centered lazy assholes. Instead of complaining, why don't you spend your energy and build your own businesses? Why are you always looking for opportunities to take what you have not worked for? I was forced to start from scratch at the age of 60 and did it. You blacks have all the advantages of BEE laws and affirmative action, but yet you are still nothing of importance in the economy. I pay taxes and I provide jobs, and you are living off a handout. And remember this, if you work as a civil servant, you are enslaved, always at the risk of losing your job and then end up with nothing. My little struggle is a micro sample of the bigger economy. An economy mainly in the hands of whites, and not because anybody gave it to them. No, because they grabbed the opportunities, risked all they have and built businesses. This is why I am proud to be white. It was my ancestors that developed this country. Keep on fooling yourself with the belief that life owes you a living. Whites have learned long ago that our destiny is in our own hands. Just remember this, your children will be better informed than you, and they will ask you why you have wasted their future. Have a nice day and keep on circling the carcasses of history. Bind yourself and your children to a life of scavenging while you have the opportunity to better, but you are too short-sighted to see it. Cheers. I have a business to run, but I forced myself to write this piece so that other people can see that you are never too old to start again, provided you have what it takes to succeed. The biggest difference today between black and white students is the fact that the vast majority of the white students are learning skills to empower themselves to start their own businesses, while the majority of black students are hoping to get a good job and a salary. And think about it. Life is happening. Your destiny is in your hands. And if you want to sit and complain, just remember, tomorrow the sun will rise and you will still be complaining. When will it end? It will only end when you decide, this is now the time. Now I must make a difference. Well, I hope this will mean something to somebody and that you can learn something from it. And now, thank you for your support. And please give me a like and a subscribe and share the thing. Have a great day. Oh yes, and don't forget, if you're a South African, Saturday, you must braai.